In 2022, Honda marked the 50th anniversary of the Honda Civic. In the early 70s, an international fuel crisis produced long lines and short tempers at gas stations everywhere. It was in this whirlwind of change that Honda introduced the first generation Civic. From the 70s to the 80s and 90s, the Civic went through 6 generations of innovation and change. The first through the 6 generations established the Civic as an efficient, reliable, and stylish mainstay in the Honda lineup. These Civics were so good that they quickly became some of the most popular cars in the world. They were reliable, fuel efficient, and easy to maintain. That is until the 7th generation. That is where the trouble started, and that is where I will start as well. I'm Greg, your car angel, and in this video, I'm going to go into all of these problems and what you should look out for when buying a used Civic. I'm going to go through the generations between the years 2001 till the present. Now, there were problem years, problem engines, weak transmissions, and there were years that you should simply avoid altogether. Now, the main reason I am starting off with the 7th generation is due to the fact that they happen to be the worst and least reliable Civics that were ever built. And you should know this if you're interested in buying an older generation. The 7th generation ran between the years 2001 to 2005. And with over 27 official recalls, it happens to be the most of any Honda, by the way. It would have to be Honda's saddest days. Most of these recalls were very serious in nature. There were transmission failures, especially on the 2001 and 2002 models. The paint was ridiculously thin, and the clear coat did not last at all. There were dangerous throttle body problems, hybrid battery failures, airbag recalls, fuel pump issues. Basically, it was a lost cause, and it's best that you just stay clear of any Civic between the years 2001 to 2005. But if you really have to buy one in this generation, there are people who really like that generation, I would stick with the 2005 model. The 8th generation Civic ran between the years 2006 to 2011. Now, Honda had a lot of catching up to do with consumer sentiment, mostly because the crosstown rival Toyota was pumping out the Corolla, which were some of the most reliable cars ever built. For a while, it seemed like the tide had actually turned, but that was just a pipe dream. Customers were now having their new 8th generation Civics towed into the dealerships with no coolant and catastrophic engine failure. The problem? A cracked block from a defective engine mold allowed the coolant to slowly leak out, and the result was a blown engine. Now, this nightmare scenario affected many of the early 2006, 2007, 2008, and even the early 2009 models that were fitted with the R18 engine. Honda tried to mitigate the disaster, but ultimately they were forced to issue a technical service bulletin. It was number 10048, but they did not issue an official recall. They did, however, extend the warranties on the engines to 10 years unlimited miles, but that was too little too late for many exasperated Civic owners who were just beyond that in years. Now, Honda did issue a statement that read, quote, "While the majority of Honda owners experience very few problems with their vehicles, we regret the inconvenience that any repair imposes on our customers," which is really just pure corporate bullshit served up on a boardroom silver platter. It's important to note that the SI and the hybrid models did not suffer from this problem. However, the hybrid had its share of other problems with failed battery packs. Now, Honda's never had good luck with their hybrid powertrains, and in short, if you want a good used hybrid, just avoid the Civic and stick with the Prius, which has a time-tested Synergy drive system. It's a much better car. The second main problem of the 8th generation was the paint. Honda introduced a new eco-friendly paint, which in the end peeled off like dead skin. The paint was just too thin and too cheap to hold up to any reasonable wear and tear. Other problems were cheap sun visors, faulty rear control arms, and early power steering pump failure. So if you really want a good Civic from this generation, go with a garage cab model with a good engine or the SI model. You might even get lucky to find a Civic from the earlier years that had a brand new dealer installed engine. That would be a good find. Just stay away from the 2006 model. Now the 9th generation, which is what this is, ran between 2010 and 2015. Now apart from the paint issues that continued, it seems that Honda was finally getting its act together. The 2012 and the 2013 models were excellent cars with minimal problems and top reliability. That was until 2014, when they went from a dependable 5-speed transmission and replaced it with a CVT. City mileage went up, and that was good, but reliability went down, which was not. There was a recall on that transmission, and turns out that it was just a software issue, which, if not performed, would spell disaster for the drive pulley shaft. Apart from that, it was reliable, and I would still choose the 5-speed over the CVT on my purchases. Another common issue is the door sill window seals. Just like on all Honda products, including the CR-V, the rubber will just dry up, crack, turn brittle, and literally fall apart in a very short amount of time. I see this on all my inspections on Hondas that have not been garage kept. So it's really important, if you're going to buy a Honda, try to find a garage kept one, no matter which model you're looking for. Other problems to look out for when test driving a 9th generation Civic is early wheel bearing failure, which you can test by placing additional load on the wheel in a sharp turn during a test drive. Listen for a groan coming from one of the front wheels. Another known issue is the fan blower motor. Be sure to test all the speeds on the fan when inspecting the car. A technical service bulletin number 14029 was issued regarding a buzzing sound from the Bluetooth feature. Now, it was a faulty microphone located directly behind the ceiling light. Now, this was common on the 2012 and 2013 models that were equipped with Bluetooth, and it's really fairly easy to replace. And lastly, there is the battery issue that most used Civic owners will encounter. When the battery gets weak on a Civic, it messes with all kinds of things seemingly unrelated, and it's always best to have the battery tested on this generation of Civics. I use an inductance tester. It's really a great tool to have in your inspection bag, especially on the Civics. Overall, there are only minimal problems with this generation, but I would really stick with the 2012 and 2013 models with the durable 5-speed transmissions. These were great little cars. The 10th generation ran between the years 2016 to 2020. Now, this generation had a major problem that I bring up in another one of my videos titled Problems to Look Out For When Buying a Honda CR-V. And the problem is oil dilution. If you're not familiar with that term, it describes a process in which gas makes its way from the injection system and into the oil chamber, thereby diluting it. As the fuel builds up, it weakens the viscosity of the oil, which increases friction on all the moving parts in your engine. This threatens the lifespan of everything that the oil is in charge of lubricating. Now, a trivial amount of oil dilution is accounted for in all engine designs and usually burns up over periods of long drives. But with the Civic 1.5 turbo Earth Dream engine, it is not a trivial amount, and it can be the death knell on your engine. Oil dilution is much more prevalent in Civics driven in colder climates and on Civics that have a lot of short city driving trips. All engines incur more wear and tear if the engine doesn't operate at proper temperatures. Now, if you follow me on my channel, you know how important highway miles are, and because of excess oil dilution, highway miles are even more important for this particular engine. You can click on this video if you want to know how to inspect a car properly for highway miles. In short, there are very few things you can do about the oil dilution problem. Now, for their part, Honda has extended the engine warranty on all 2016 to 2018 models for 6 years unlimited mileage. And they do offer a software update for the 2019 and the 2020 models, which allows for faster warm-up time, reducing the chance of fuel mixing in with the oil. The way that you check for non-trivial oil dilution is by removing the dipstick to see if the oil level is above the full line. If it's above the full line, you most likely have a problem. Another easy way is to remove the oil cap and smell inside the crankcase, or just smell the dipstick. It should not smell like gas. If you discover a problem on one of these early 2016 to 2018 models, you should track the problem and change your oil more frequently. You can always try your luck and see if the dealer can offer you an equitable dilution solution, but good luck with that. The 11th generation is the current model. Now we'll see how it holds up. Who knows which way Honda is heading? Are they getting better? Or are they getting worse? Leave your comments below with your experience in owning a Honda Civic. Did you get one of the good ones or one of the bad ones? I enjoy reading all your comments. I'm Greg, your car angel. Thanks so much for watching this video. Give it a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.